This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? NLT. You can identify them by their fruit, that is, by the way they act. Can you pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai's sake. My brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 16. I want to play this video I came across today from a YouTube account called Fallout Raccoon. I recommend brothers and sisters to subscribe to it because whoever this individual is, he does a thorough research on what people will do when all hell breaks loose, whether it be the power goes out or there's a nuclear explosion and there's fallout, all right? And he pretty much paints a picture, all right, of what people will do, different scenarios, especially those that are preparing for these different scenarios, like the super rich, okay, which I'm about to play. Okay, I recommend subscribe to it. It definitely, when you watch this, you get humbled down and you realize that your only salvation, your only rescue is Yahushai. All right, and that's why Yahushai is worthy to be worshipped and praised. His name means He deliverer, He savior, because only through Him can we get delivered from what's to come. Because the billionaires know what's coming. This is why what I'm about to play. All right, what this individual, again, Fallout Raccoon YouTube account, all right, shows, like they know that all hell's gonna break loose. All right, they're not even confident in their NWO, or else why would they do this? So but hey, what does the scripture say? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. When you have doubt, okay, you are double-minded. And that's why we have to be fully persuaded, okay, in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You know what? Let me get Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord, Yahweh, with all thine heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding, okay? This is where faith and belief comes in. And you're going to need faith and belief in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right? For when all hell breaks loose. 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. You see that? 7. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. That's it. Okay? And that's why to our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. All right? You have to fear the Lord and depart from evil, okay? And acknowledge your offenses and acknowledge the Lord and pray to the Lord continually, okay? Pray to the Father, pray to the Son. That's why every time I start these lessons, I always, okay, revere the names. Barakatah Yahweh, bless you Yahweh, which is the Father. Barakatah Yahushai, bless you Yahushai, which is the Son. Again, I recommend subscribe to this because this will humble you down. Facts. So let's play this. Okay? Again, you shall know them by their fruits. That's why I brought out Matthew chapter 7, verse 16. All right? Because it's not what they say you should be worried about. Okay? Or concerned about. It's what they do. And brothers know where I'm going with this.
The mainstream media keeps telling you the economy is resilient. They tell you not to panic. They tell you to keep your money in the market, keep your faith in the system, Keep scrolling.
Isn't that what we're hearing today? I mean, that's what we're hearing, literally blasting through Fox, CNN, okay, all these various financial channels. All right, just keep your money in the market. Yeah, there's some headwind and downside, but keep your money in the market. Oh, gold and silver. Yeah, oh, it's a great time to buy. And then what happened? Literally, what happened with silver? Okay, what a rug pull. That was a bull trap. They literally rug pulled the shit out of retailers that started buying, okay, over $100. They did that shit on purpose. They hyped it up and then they rug pulled them. Okay, well, I got it right here. Okay, that's why when you buy gold and silver, you need to buy physical gold and silver, not, okay, paper contracts, certificates. Yeah, right here. Based on reports from late January 2026, silver experienced extreme volatility, including a sharp, rapid drop after reaching record highs. All right, so it went from $115 an ounce to $103. Okay, and I was noticing how mainstream media was pumping the hype. I was like, oh man, they're pushing the FOMO onto the retailer. All right, and boom, okay. And between gold and silver, 1.7 trillion was liquidated. Okay, that was a rug pull. Thanks for playing. Okay, I'm very cynical about this economy. I don't trust it. I trust in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. This is what made me learning about this financial system, how wicked and corrupt it truly is. What pushed me, like, my only salvation is Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. That's a fact. There is no out. There is no contingency plan. All right, so let's keep playing.
But behind the scenes, the quietest, largest asset transfer in history is happening. They are liquidating stocks, they are moving to cash, and most importantly, they are buying land.
You hear that? They're buying land. The rich and powerful have been buying land. What are they doing on this land? Are they playing golf on this land? Are they playing tennis on this land? No. All right? They're building bunkers. They're building a fortress. Okay? And they don't want you in it. They want you out. I want to bring out this scripture. Psalm chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Right. Okay? They're telling you, trust in America. All right? Believe in the system. Meanwhile, they don't even believe in the system. Okay? This is the devil for you.
Not beachfront condos, not vacation homes. Land. Remote. Defensible. Off-grid. While you're standing in the grocery store aisle debating whether to stockpile kidney beans or black beans, Mark Zuckerberg is building a $270 million compound in Hawaii.
Facts. Super facts. And brothers know about this. Mr. Metaverse, Mr. Facebook, all right, is building a compound, a fortress to keep you out and keep his valuables, all right, and other things. Check this out. Let me play. Let me shut up.
With blast-proof doors, with its own energy grid, with cattle. The man who built the metaverse is betting his life on cows.
Look at that. The man who built the metaverse, the man who wants you, all right, jacked into the internet, all right, is behind the scenes buying up cows, all right, building a farmland in Hawaii, okay, and building a fortress, a compound, all right, to keep the cows and his valuables safe. All right, this is the facts. This is what's really happening.
Let that sink in for a second. These aren't conspiracy theories. These are public land records, SEC filings, building permits. The information is out there if you know where to look. And I looked. Today we decode.
We all looked. Brothers like myself, okay, the apostle elders from GMS have done tons of videos on the elites building their bug outs, their bunkers, all right, their contingency plans, all right. when all hell breaks loose. Okay? Because they know once they implement the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, it's going to be chaos. All right? It's going to be chaos. And there's going to be war, major wars, nuclear wars, which we're going to go into. Bear with me. All right? Again, these people are double-minded. They're unstable. They don't even have full confidence in their New World Order. Okay? And I'm going to show why.
The elite's bug-out strategy, the specific locations, the specific features, and the specific threat they are clearly, unmistakably preparing for. This isn't about jealousy. This isn't about politics. This is about one simple principle that has kept survivors alive since the dawn of civilization. Watch what they do, not what they say.
Yup. Let's read this one more time. Matthew chapter 7, verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? NLT. You can identify them by their fruit. That is, by the way they act. Can you pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? AMP. By their fruit you will recognize them. That is, by their contrived doctrine and self-focus. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? You see that? Okay? They are putting their hard-earned money, their smart money, in these locations for survival. Okay? Goes to show you they're not even fucking confident in their New World Order and their AI technology. All right? Hey, I just report what is being shown, all right, and filter it through the scriptures. Now, let's jump to a particular location that they have chosen and been building on for decades, okay?
Which brings us to our next location. And this one isn't about bunkers at all. It's about something far more important. Geography. Right. Segment 3.
Geography, okay? Keep that in mind. Geography. Okay? Geo, which means the earth. Okay? And ography, I believe it's mapping. What is it? Mapping or let me get the breakdown. Geography. I thought it was mapping. Geography meaning. The study, right? Study or but I thought it was writing, okay, or mapping, right? Writing earth, okay? Geography, graphia, to write, writing of the earth or mapping the earth, all right? And how do you map the earth, all right? By pinpointing, all right, through leisure, where the resources is at, okay? What physical features are located at, okay? Where is the dense population at? Where is not the dense population at? Where's water located at? Where's not water located at? Where's a good place to build a farm? Where's not a good place to build a farm? This is everything the elites have been planning behind the scenes and building up, okay? For what reason? Where the wind doesn't blow. Check that out. What does this mean? Brothers know what scripture I'm about to bring out.
Where the wind doesn't blow. Let me ask you a question. When you picked your bug out location, and I'm assuming you have one because you're watching this video, what factors did you consider? Distance from major cities? Check. Water access? Check. Defensibility? Check. But did you check the prevailing wind patterns? No? Interesting. Because some of the wealthiest, most well-informed people on the planet made that their primary consideration. And the location they chose tells you exactly what scenario.
You see that? Contaminated. What is this talking about? Nuclear fallout. Okay? And look. South America has been chosen. All right? Also New Zealand, because in this part of this video, he talks about New Zealand as well.
They're most worried about. Welcome to Patagonia, the southern tip of South America, where Argentina and Chile dissolve into islands, fjords, and endless wilderness. This is not a convenient location.
You see that? The rich and powerful have chosen a place, okay, way beyond your reach if you live here in America. Okay? Yeah, they're going to tell you to keep believing in the system, trust in the shadow of Egypt, keep playing along, you know? Keep worry about, all right, political strife between red and blue parties. Okay? Worry about, okay, you know, uh, uh, different influencers and talk about them. They like when you talk about influencers and these different people, okay, while they're building an escape route, an escape scenario and bunkers and land and how to live on it for years.
It's thousands of miles from any major population center. It's cold, it's remote, the infrastructure is minimal. Getting there requires significant planning and resources. So why are billionaires buying massive tracts of land there? The Bush family, Ted Turner, multiple tech executives.
The Bush family? Wait a minute. I thought Bush was pro-American and proud to be an American and wants to do the great things for America. Yeah, he's building a bunker outside of America in the South America on an island that most people can't even find on a map. And Ted Turner, okay, and his family. Interesting. These are supposed to be American entrepreneurs, American, all right, businessmen who are supposed to, okay, make America, number one. It goes to show you, they're not even fully persuaded in this system. Why would they do this? Okay?
Acres upon acres of remote Patagonian wilderness quietly changing hands over the past 2 decades. The answer is atmospheric physics. Let me explain. When a nuclear weapon detonates, it doesn't just destroy things, it creates fallout. Radioactive particles that get swept into the atmosphere and distributed by wind patterns. That fallout then settles over the following days, weeks, and months, contaminating soil, water, and everything else it touches.
Gotta bring it out. Jeremiah 51 verse 1, Babylon judged. Okay. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. A destroying wind. That's the nuclear fallout. Okay. 2. All right. That's that, when the blast hits, okay, and that wind that comes right after it. Yup. 2. And will send onto it Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. 3. And against him that bendeth let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself in his brigadine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. There you go. So this is what's coming. Nuclear destruction.
Now here's the critical part. The Earth's atmosphere is not one unified system. It's divided into cells. The Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere have largely separate circulation patterns. Air that rises in the tropics creates a barrier, a kind of atmospheric wall, that makes it very difficult for particles to cross from one hemisphere to the other. What does this mean in practical terms? If a nuclear exchange happens in the Northern Hemisphere, which is where all the major nuclear powers are located, where all the likely targets are located.
Do you see how they figure this out? Okay, meanwhile, you got people worried about, okay, celebrity gossip, okay, minimal gossip amongst family and friends. It's bullshit, man. They're getting ready for all hell to break loose. Okay?
Where all the strategic assets are located, the resulting fallout would overwhelmingly stay in the Northern Hemisphere. The Southern Hemisphere, and Patagonia specifically, sits in what atmospheric scientists call the cleanest air on Earth, the furthest point from Northern Hemisphere contamination patterns, the safest place to be if the unthinkable happens. That's why the smart money is buying land there. But it's not just about radiation avoidance. Patagonia sits on top of one of the largest freshwater reserves in the world. Glaciers feeding into rivers, feeding into aquifers. clean, abundant water in an era when water scarcity is becoming one of the defining geopolitical challenges of our time. And it has incredibly low population density. Space to breathe, space to build, space to survive without competing with millions of desperate refugees.
You see that? Hey man, these billionaires, these elites, all right, they've been planning and calculating while they throw on the news media, all right, and tell you, all right, to continue to believe in the American dream. Nasty work, bro. Okay? Now, hey, this is why it's best to serve the Lord, man. It's best to serve the Lord.
So here's the lesson, and it's a big one. Location isn't just about distance from threats. It's about understanding how threats propagate, how contamination spreads, how wind and water and geography shape the long-term survivability of any given region. When you picked your bug-out location, did you consider fallout drift patterns?
Anybody that built a bunker in America did not consider any of this, okay? And that's how you know the ones that are like the Bush family and what other family? Because I asked what other family bought property in Patagonia. You have the Tompkins family, George Soros family, Benetton. Right, isn't the George Soros family funding the protests in Minnesota? Right, that PSYOP, right? Meanwhile, they're building bunkers, you know? Again, they're putting all their money in this. Why? All right? Because they're not even confident, okay, in what they're building. All right? This devil is double-minded. He always has a contingency plan. Well, if it doesn't work, we'll just run to our fallout shelters and wait it out. Okay? That's what the scriptures say, right? That they will hide, all right, when the nuclear missiles go off, right? Check this out. Revelation chapter 6, verse 12, terror, right? Nuclear war is terror. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, 13, and the stars of heaven fell onto the earth. Right, it's talking about the nuclear missiles. All right, they look like stars falling from heaven. Okay? All you got to do is Google a nuclear missile being tested in the sky. All right, and look at it. All right, it looks like a star from a distance. Let me see if I can find it. You know, let's see if we can find. Let me see. Nuclear missile test in the sky video. I don't want animated. I just want. No, this is a test. Nuclear missile flying in the sky. Let me just do that one. Flying in the sky. All right, this is 3 months ago. Russia tested its nuclear capable cruise missile. This is Russia. The one that's going to destroy America. All right? They got nuclear submarines all throughout the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean.
Боевая тревога. Ракетная атака. Создать рубежи обороны на кормовой переборке 3-го отсека, носовой переборке 5-го ВИС-отсека, командир рубежей обороны, командира отсека. Личный состав НКЧ-2 покинуть 4-5 отсек.
Выработать нормальные условия старта.
Я скажу, есть нормальные условия старта.
Есть расчет. Вперед 6,5, есть низкая скорость.
Ah, man, this doesn't have it. This just has Russians testing it. The Lord has them testing it. You get the point. I mean, these are the warheads, by the way. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's another thing. A lot of these are missiles being tested. But people are like, oh, is it a UFO? No, it's a missile being tested. Okay. Yeah, anyway, you get the point. Anyway, this is all based upon faith. At the end of the day, it's based upon faith. Do you believe this is what it's talking about? All right? Even as a fig tree casts her timely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it's rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Right, this is the destruction. 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains. Right, meaning they hid in their remote bunkers that they've been building, okay, all these years, okay? Places like in South America, or places in New Zealand, or there's one in the Czech. There's a bunker in the Czech Republic. What billion bunker is in the Czech Republic? It's called Opidum. Yep. Opidum is a massive top-secret billionaire bunker located in the Czech Republic. Often touted as the world's largest, spanning over 323,000 square feet. There you go. Okay? And look what its amenities, luxuries, featuring, including a swimming pool, spa, cinema, library. A library! All right, got to do reading while the people up top are starving to death and killing each other for lack of bread, and one of all things. Okay? An underground garden with simulated natural light. Okay? All right, now, I want to make this spicy because I want to play this part right here. Now, check this out. He makes that's why I subscribe to him, because he makes an interesting point, even amongst these billionaires. Check this out.
You can grow food year-round. Fresh water falls from the sky regularly. The temperature never reaches extremes. It's one of the few places on Earth where bear survival is actually relatively easy, if you have the land. Zuckerberg has the land. He also has something else, a security team. A trained, professional, well-equipped security team. And this brings us to the most important part of this entire video.
Yeah, this is the most important part of this entire video, because if you're not a Rothschild or a Rockefeller or a DuPont, old money, the real rulers of this world, if you're like people like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and even Peter Thiel, okay? All right? This is what you have to worry about. This is why you can't get enough sleep, why you have bags under your eyes. Check this out.
Because the security team isn't just there to protect against burglars or paparazzi. It's there for the scenario Zuckerberg and his advisors have clearly gamed out. The scenario where society has broken down and armed protection is the only thing standing between the compound and chaos. But that raises a question. A question so important that it's apparently the only thing billionaires want to talk about when they discuss survival.
You see that? The event. Nuclear. This is what they're really talking about. How to survive a nuclear destruction and how to manage their own staff, their own people. And that's what he's about to say. Check it out.
A question that reveals their deepest fear. The twist, the guard problem, futurist Douglas Rushkoff received an unusual invitation a few years ago. 5 hedge fund billionaires wanted to meet with him, in private, off the record, at an exclusive resort. Rushkoff expected to discuss technology, the future of markets, maybe artificial intelligence, the usual Silicon Valley topics. Instead, they spent the entire meeting asking him one question. How do I keep my security guards loyal to me after the money becomes worthless?
Look at that. Look at that. Instead of talking about AI and fucking, bots, robots, they're worried about how to keep their security guard loyal, how to keep this, soldier who's been training to kill, all right, and slice someone's throat from turning on him. Even these billionaires gotta watch their back, man. Because when the money fails, how do you continue to pay for your security? What's the incentive? All right? What's the incentive?
Let that sink in. These are men worth collectively tens of billions of dollars. They have access to the best advisors, the best intelligence, the best information on Earth. They've built bunkers. They've bought land. They've stockpiled resources. And their biggest fear isn't the bomb. It isn't the virus. It isn't the collapse itself. Their biggest fear is the day after. The day when their authority, which is entirely based on their ability to pay, evaporates. The day when a $100 bill is just paper. When a bank balance is just a number. When the entire financial system that defines their power ceases to function. On that day, why would anyone take orders from them? Think about it. Really think about it. You're a trained security professional. You have guns, you have combat skills, you have survival training. You're standing in a fully stocked bunker with years of supplies. Your boss, who is physically weaker than you, less skilled than you, less useful than you, says something you don't like. What's stopping you from just taking over?
Yep. Wait a minute. Hold up. Gotta bring the scripture. Gotta bring it out. See, you billionaires, you piece of shit billionaires that watch our videos, all right? This is what's really in the back of your mind, okay? Because you got your bunker, you got your hideout from the explosion, but this is what's really in the back of your mind. Your own staff, your own people that you think are loyal to you. Will they change? Will they, do a 180 on you? All right? And I'm about to bring out some scriptures about adversity. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 6. I'm going to start at 15. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. Well, let me start at 14. Excuse me. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Right, you billionaires, all right, you rich piece of shit, arrogant, pompous, elites, you're in this world too, okay? The bulk of y'all are not on a spaceship going to a damn, what's it called? Space station, all right? Because you know that it's minimal to survive up there, okay? The bulk of y'all are on the earth, all right? That's why you're putting all this money into these locations, all right? You're going to be on the earth in these bunkers, in the caves, okay? In these compounds. 15, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? Yep, those who have the gun, those who have the bullets, those that have the army, the team that's loyal, all right, to the general, all right, or to the mercenary, captain. 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? Who are these people? Okay? All right? It's more than just the presidents, and the mayor and the Senate, We're talking about the billionaires, those that have the power, the money, all right? Those that are able to influence the president. People like Larry Fink, that's another piece of shit. Okay? You think his men will be loyal to him when all hell breaks loose? Okay? Because nobody's gonna give a damn about BlackRock anymore. Okay? When the total collapse, when there's a nuclear attack. Okay? And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You're damn right. 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. 18, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Right. The rich billionaire who gave you, who thought by giving a job, he was going to have a loyal partnership, okay? But shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, right? So there you go. Now, let's see if there's a little bit more on this.
The money is worthless now. The law, there is no law now. The loyalty, based on what? This is the billionaire nightmare. And it's why their prep, despite all its sophistication, contains a fundamental flaw. They don't have skills. They have purchased skills. They don't have relationships. They have transactional arrangements. They don't have community. They have staff. And staff quits when the paycheck bounces. Rushkoff said the billionaires proposed all sorts of solutions. Shock collars, food locks that only they could open, secret codes and biometric safeguards.
Oh, there's the chip. All right? Biometric safeguards, all right, which how long is that going to last? All right, Again, this is what happens when people are wicked. They're gonna their own plight, their own judgment, their own, what's it called? Man, what's that scripture? I brought it out in my it's in Proverbs. Is it Proverbs? Is it 26? This is it. Proverbs 26:27. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him, right? His own judgment. Okay? Let's do an NLT version. If you set a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourselves. Right, you want to do a biometric on your own staff, all right? This is what they've been talking behind the scenes, all right? Like that security guard ain't going to, okay, pull a fast one on you, or if he catches you slipping, okay? If you roll a boulder down on others, it will crush you instead, right? Because there's going to be sedition, okay, in a lot of these bunkers too, okay? Ain't everybody going to get along.
Every solution was about control, about domination, about maintaining hierarchy through force or manipulation. Not one solution was about genuine relationship, about mutual respect, about being useful enough to the group that they would want to keep you around. They couldn't imagine earning loyalty. They could only imagine coercing it.
You see that? That's the mind of the wicked. All right. This is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 8. A friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. You see that? Okay. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 9. In the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity, even a friend will depart. You see that? So when adversity comes, even their most loyal friend will depart. Let me get another one. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6, verse 10. Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. All it takes is one. You say you billionaires that are old and fragile, you get hurt, man. You think that security guard is going to be loyal to you? You think, okay, that doctor is going to be loyal to you? Between the doctor and the mercenary, or the officer of the security, they're conspiring against your old ass. Yeah, we could take it. Well, what the fuck we need him for? All right? Fuck that old bastard. All right? He's the reason why this is all fucked up anyway. We can't even enjoy the earth. We got to stay stuck down here. All right? Because of a nuclear fallout. That's how they're going to blame. They're going to blame, okay, the person who has the most influence, and the one that has prepping all this from the beginning. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 7, verse 18. Change not a friend for any good by no means, neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir. Right. And this is how you know, man, okay, only the elect are going to stick together. All right. Only the elect are going to trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai. They're not going to, okay, sell out their brother for some funky gold or silver or FRNs or crypto, whatever the fuck. Okay. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37, verse 4. There is a companion which rejoices the prosperity of a friend, but in the time of trouble will be against him. Right. See, this is what keeping these billionaires up all night. When the money faileth, and the bribery, the whatever's being used to incentivize loyalty is gone away, that's when division happens. And saying house is divided. All it takes is one false move from these billionaires, and their own staff is going to turn on them. Okay? And it's going to happen. You'll see it. You're going to see in certain bunkers, all right, the wealthy Mark Zuckerberg, okay, or Elon Musk, or Peter Thiel might end up, more likely dead. There's no need for him. Okay, he served his purpose. All right, this is what's going on. This is again. This is what, when you watch this, your only hope is in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because even these elites, they ain't got it, man. This alone, like, this really was an eye opener. They don't got it. Okay, they think they got it, but at the end, they don't got it. Okay, they're cooked. So I think that's it, man. I didn't want to make this too long. A little willingness, less edifying. Again, all right, they're not even confident in their own New World Order agenda, or else why are they doing all this? And then they're not even confident in their own staff, where that's where they're fucking trying to come up with scenarios of how to control them when the money faileth. Okay? And that chip is only temporary. Okay? In those bunkers. Only temporary. So with that, I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem B'char Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it door, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying, pray without ceasing, pray for each other, pray for the apostles, elders. We're almost out of here. You clearly see we're almost out of here. Man, all right, these devils ain't got it. Once they push that chip, it's game over. For the few sisters that are watching, keep studying when you pray, cover shalom.